Friends, I'm finding this very hard to do because my best friend is sat next to me. But welcome to episode 6 of Growing Pains with Jess, because growing older and wiser is hard flipping work. Now, you may notice things are looking very different this time. In fact, I have my sofa. We've turned our whole lounge upside down. But it's because from this week, henceforth, it will be a guest-led podcast. And today, Phoebe. Hello. Phoebe the angel is with me. You should give a fuck about Phoebe because she is the freest spirit I know. She is the most insanely talented creative force, and she is truly kind, and she has stories for days. So I feel like you're a great first guest because truly, I don't think I even know half of the stories that she has lived. So let's flip and go. We know each other from work. We met in our job that we're in now at Secret London, and every time we get drunk we cry about how lucky we feel to have met each other
and how much we love each other.
So all of this is a well-known fact. We are deeply in love, and I just wanted you on because I just think you're interesting.
Thanks, babe. Also, I should note it's cute that I'm on the episode 6 because 6 is my lucky number.
Oh, cute. Oh, so sweet.
You knew that already though, didn't you?
Yeah, I knew that. That's why I invited you on. I think we should look at your baby photos first.
I was so cute.
You look so cute, but also extremely cheeky, which I kind of love. Very on brand. I'm going to bring them up here, but we'll also put them up on the screen. I want every guest that comes onto the show to bring baby photos, kid photos, because I want every chat that we have we bring our inner children with us, because they are us, we are them.
And we love them.
And we love them. We've got to love them. Yeah. Cute.
So that was in the backyard. We had a massive tire swing that my dad set up. That is both of my parents' favorite childhood photo of me.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Your childhood looks very free.
It was very idyllic.
So cute.
I was
and then
barefoot consistently.
Love that.
There's one photo I wish I'd given you. I'm 2 years old, not even. And I'm wearing this sweater that says hot and spicy across it, but in stripes.
Hot and spicy.
Hot and spicy.
A
like
Cheetos
Cheetos. Cheetos
right.
hot
Okay.
and spicy logo.
Right.
My mom used to love dressing. She used to work in fashion. So she used to dress me in outrageous outfits. There's photos of me in little baby doll dresses sitting in the mud.
Wait, I didn't know your mum worked in fashion.
Yeah. She worked in fashion. She worked in film. That's how I could correct you on continuity. She used to work in continuity in film. And then now she works in interiors.
Amazing. And you need to tell everyone what your dad does.
My dad's a climber. My dad is a mountaineer. He grew up in Colorado. He worked in advertising properly and professionally. But outside of that, he's kind of since retired into his, I guess, hobby / side hustle.
Yeah.
And now he's a full-time climber and guide and mountaineer.
So your childhood was it was beautiful, right?
It was pretty cute. Yeah, it was pretty cute.
And how was being raised by two such incredible characters for parents?
I mean, they were epic. They were such wonderful parents. My mum is she's from New Zealand, so she's super earthy and really chill. She is where I always wanted to be barefoot because of that I think Kiwi strain. And just really nurturing, really loving, really down to earth. And my dad was he's so much energy, and he again always loved being outside, so we were always doing things. And they were both individually very well traveled before they met each other, and then very well traveled when they met each other. My older brother was born in South Korea because they lived in South Korea for 3 years, and then we moved to New York just before I was born.
We had similar childhoods, but in the sense that both of our families valued adventure. My mum, to be fair, pumped so much money and effort into making sure we got to see as many things as possible and also do crazy shit. I was 14 when I jumped out of a plane. My brother was 10 years old.
I have yet to do that.
Oh!
I do it so badly.
It is the most bizarre feeling, but also no one ever says this, but it's actually quite boring. It actually is, because it takes you ages in this little plane to get up and you're just oh, and then you have a free fall of 90 seconds, which is fun, but then you've got another 20 minutes fucking gliding down, and you're stuck with some random bloke on your back.
Small talk.
Literally, you're just
the weather's nice today.
But I kind of love that we both had that adventure in us. It's definitely shaped me as a person now. But don't you find that it's quite hard to find other people that have had a similar sense of adventure drilled into them.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of friends that like tell me that I just have really bizarre life stories, or that like I did a lot in my life before I was like an adult. And I did, like, you know, we moved around a lot when I was a kid as well, so I'd lived in a bunch of different states, and I'd lived all over the US, and we traveled a bit while I was a kid, and kind of did New York, Connecticut, Texas, Michigan, back to Connecticut, back to the same town.
I feel exhausted, like, hearing about how much you've moved around. What does that do to a kid, like, when you're just bobbing about?
I think it depends. Like, I'm really extroverted, and I think it was like my finishing school. Like, I have friends still in, whether I speak to them or not, I'm still like, I know there's like a couple people in Texas and there's a couple people in Michigan where if I were to like pick up the phone and be like, hi, I haven't spoken to you in 10 years, we would be able to chat. So I was like quite good at making friends, and I had to become good at making friends.
Yeah. What age were you when you moved out of America?
I was 18.
Yeah.
So I left for uni. It was never really a question that I was going to go to university in the US.
Yeah.
I, at that point, had kind of like exhausted my interest in the US.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to be there. And like I said, my parents are quite international. So my mum was moving back to New Zealand. My dad was living abroad at the time. So there wasn't like a family unit to keep me there.
Yeah.
Like, I had a lot of people decide on which university they wanted to go to because they were like, oh, I only want to be 2 hours from home. That didn't matter to me. I was going to be a 12-hour flight from either of my parents wherever I went in the world. So I was like, I'd always wanted to go to the UK. I'd always felt like a very indescribable sense of home here. I'd visited a couple times as a teenager and just remember like hitting tarmac and being like, this feels like me. I know. Like, I genuinely think this is where I'm meant to be.
Don't you think it's so weird that, like, some places you go, you just feel home in? Like, I would love to know the psychology behind it, because I had the exact same thing when I went to Barcelona for the first time. Almost the second I touched down, I felt like a part of me belonged there. Isn't that so weird? Like, what? Because what is that?
I don't know, but it's a feeling I hope everybody gets to experience once in their life.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't believe in fate or like anything is predetermined, but sometimes when you have that like undeniable sense of belonging in a different place, you do have to wonder like where does that come from? Like, I knew I had to live in Barcelona, so I lived in Barcelona and I had a wonderful time. And I'm just like, is that my brain being like, babe, at some point in your life, this is where you need to end up? I don't know.
Probably. I think so. I think sometimes every version of you is in that exact spot at the exact same time because that's where you're meant to be.
Isn't that weird?
And I've only had like a couple moments like that in my life where I'm like, no, I'm meant to be exactly like on this little tiny square foot of grass right now.
Everything has aligned.
Yeah.
And I feel
everything outside of that, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But this moment, I was supposed to be here. However which way I got here, this one moment I was supposed to be here.
Aren't they so delicious, those moments? You're like, life is doing the life thing.
Life is life for me. I love it when life lives.
Honestly, isn't life beautiful?
It is.
I mean, speaking about that, you've known me when life hasn't been beautiful.
Yes, I have.
Me. I feel I've age regressed since I've known you.
Yeah.
I feel like I was quite a bit of a boring like fucker who didn't really actually do that much, like scared of the world, whatever. And that since breaking up with I feel I've age regressed, and I feel like you have turned into like I would say you've turned into a woman since I've known you. I think you've really like blossomed.
I think so too. I think my frontal lobe cooked.
Babe, it's cooking.
It's a thing. It's sizzling away in there. Every single day, something else. I'm like, ooh.
I feel advanced.
Is this what everybody's talking about?
Honestly. And I kind of love it.
I kind of love
it. I mean, I think, I'm going to put this out there. I think every single person needs a Phoebe in their life, because I live my life now in quite an intense way. People don't understand the way that I live, because I say yes to flipping everything. If someone asked me to do something, I'll be like, absolutely, I will be there. Yeah, hell yeah, right? But I think lots of people don't understand that. I think lots of people are just like, but what? Why are you doing that? Or like, oh, that's a bit weird. Whereas those times I come to you and I'm like, hello, I'm thinking about doing da 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 da.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
As long as you're safe about it, as long as you're smart about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Go for
Babe,
it.
you are my side quest master. Everyone needs a side quest master, and you are it. There is never judgment.
I just think, why, like, who are you to tell anybody what to do with their life? That's why, like, I when people are like, oh, should I go and do this? Should I go and do that? I always approach it as like, well, what do you really want to do? My main concern as your friend is your safety.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I care about. So as long as you've kind of thought about a couple of the possibilities here of what you're doing, and it feels right,
do the thing. And I think, actually, I told my therapist about the thing that I did. I'm not going to say it just because it involves someone else, and, like, I don't... And I know that person watches this.
But we went to dinner, and I encouraged her to do the thing.
And I was like, how would you feel if I did da-da-da-da-da? And you were like, do the da-da-da-da-da. And it was great. And I was telling my therapist about it, and I said, and, you know, because my therapist was like, how's your week gone? And I said, well, I think you're going to judge me for a da-da-da-da-da. And she was like, I would never judge you for any of these things, because as long as you're acting with your healthy brain, as long as you're doing it with, like, you're doing things that aren't destructive, or you're not acting on an inner critic, like, as long as you're just, like, in your healthy self being like, I think that would be quite fun. I'm doing it for the plot. It's actually so fine.
It's your plot.
It's my plot. If I want to have a little side quest, why flipping not?
And especially, like, you know, when you're single, when you're living alone, when you don't have to have, like, accountability, or you don't have to take somebody else into consideration. It's like,
do the side quest.
Do the side quest.
We'll give an example that I can say, although he also listens to the podcast.
Who doesn't? Everybody listens to the podcast.
All of my admirers, secret admirers. No, I'm gonna cut that bit out.
Wink,
That is
wink,
so
nudge,
cringe.
nudge.
Ah!
You know who you are.
So I was in Malta recently for my friend's hen do, and I met a bloke in a karaoke bar, as you flipping do. Hell yeah, singing away, like tattoo, all the things she said. There was a nice man, nice tall Brazilian man. And we exchanged, you know, contact information. And the next night, all of my friends had decided to go to sleep about midnight, and I still had energy. He invited me to karaoke round 2, and I said to you, what do you think?
Am I going to get killed?
Yeah, literally. Is this a silly bitty thing to do, or is this a fun side quest to do? And as my side quest master, you said proceed with caution.
Yeah.
You said share your location, check in with your friends, tell your friend, and I did all those things. I had a flipping great time. Was just at this karaoke bar with a really wonderful human being.
And had this amazing night.
That you
wouldn't have had otherwise.
This is what I mean. And I told one of the girls on holiday, I think I'm going to go. And she was like, but what's the point if you'll never see him again? And I said, yeah, but I can still have a really lovely time with another human being for 3 hours, right? Like,
these moments are called, I have this family friend who, she moved in with us my senior year of high school. But she just had, like, this incredible, like, she was very much like you, like, zest for life, like, so much energy. And she used to talk about, like, specifically, I guess, when she was dating and meeting people, but also just in general on, like, she used to go on side quests, basically. And she used to call them her shooting star moments. She used to be like, when a shooting star moment comes, you go with the shooting star moment. She's like, you don't say no to, like, that kind of experience. When you're in a position to say yes, when it feels right, when you feel safe, you have to go with the shooting star moment, because they're always, like, the best moments of your life. And I have carried that with me my whole life, is, like, when you have shooting star moments, whether it be, like, with people, whether that be romantic or platonic, or, like, whether it just be in career or in life or in moving abroad, or, like, one of my shooting star moments was the plane window when I was coming back. Like, that was, it's all that kind of stuff. But I love that statement from her.
Oh my God, we need to make shooting star moments a thing. And I actually think, because so few people want to embrace those, like, moments. I think if they think it doesn't benefit them long term, or, like, or they're a bit tired, like, so for instance, everyone went to bed early because we had a flight the next morning, but whereas I was thinking, I've got a few hours left, let's make the flipping most of it.
Exactly.
Like, I actually love that shooting star moment. Let's embrace the shooting star moments.
Because they come a lot more often than
yes,
you think
they
do. Too, and
do.
you just need to, like, grab them by the horns. Like,
do you know what? They really do. It's so bizarre. Like, obviously, this is the first time I've been single for 7 years. And I've had so many shooting star moments just because I'm open to it now, and before I wouldn't have been. Like, before, I would have turned that man down. I wouldn't have even spoken to him. I would have been like, oh, a man is bothering me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or I wouldn't have even given off the energy that he wanted to approach me. You know what I mean? But shooting star moments do happen when you're, like, open to it.
Yeah. And the people who are, like, also, like, you can't be looking for a shooting star moment. I think that's the wrong way to put it. But I think when other people are, like, open to a shooting star moment, that's when you converge.
The energy...
It's meeting, you know, it's meeting strangers at a gig and, like, spending the rest of the night doing something, like, hilarious or fun, or ending up at an after party or doing whatever. Yeah. It's that kind of energy of, like, just going with where, like, the flow of life is moving
like-minded energies and coming together.
Yeah, and just getting on board with it and going with it. And I think that's when you have the most fun in life as well.
Oh my God, me too. Me flipping too. I love this. I think this actually segues quite nicely into dating, because here's the thing about Phoebe. When I first met her, I first met you when you were 23, right?
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, I was 23.
And I was in, long-term relationship, and Phoebe baffled me because she was in her dating era. She's not anymore. She's very, very happily coupled up. But she used to say, I love dating. Like, you were so enthusiastic. And I was like, mate, this girl, is she okay?
What's going on over there?
Like, but talk me through the mindset that you have to be in to love dating.
I mean, I think, so I had been in a relationship for a couple years at uni and then was single for, like, 3.5 years. And I was never, like, looking for anything. I was just enjoying being single, being on my own. I was doing a bit of healing as well. I was just kind of figuring out who I was, what I wanted. And then when I got back to London, and it just felt like my life kind of restarted. I had an incredible group of friends. I was also just meeting new people. I was going out a lot. I was dancing all the time, which I loved. Like, I was in this new job. So I was having this, like, really full, wonderful life that it was going to take somebody very special to, like, take me out of it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even something I wanted. It wasn't something I was looking for. And so dating for me, I was like, I'm an extrovert as well, so it was just like meeting wonderful people. Yeah. It was literally just like, and they didn't even have to go anywhere, like nothing even had to happen on the date for it to be worth my time. It was also just like, I was back in my favorite city and I was like wanting to meet everybody in my favorite city and even just like chat to them. Like, I had so many dates that just ended with just chatting. Like, that was it. And then we would go our separate ways and be like, that was a lovely platonic date. Yeah. But yeah, I just think when you have such a full life and you're really happy with where you are and who you are, and you kind of, I think, know what you want. Like I said, I didn't want anything. There wasn't the pressure of like, oh my God, I really want a boyfriend. Oh, like, I really want to be married by this age and kids by this age. There was no pressure of that. So it was just the joy of doing what I wanted, when I wanted, and meeting cool people. I
think
loved it.
So many people get dating wrong. Like I said, now I'm back in the dating game. I see things so differently. I used to be, I date to marry.
It's the wrong way.
It's the wrong flipping way, because...
Well, maybe it's the right way for some people. Let's not judge.
But I think the mentality is a bit of all or nothing mindset, right? And all or nothing mindsets, I'm sounding like my therapist. I don't think they work so well because it limits opportunities for connections in shorter term ways. Like, I still think that even if you had like a 1 month relationship, that can be actually just as fruitful and beautiful.
All of them teach you something about yourself or about what you want. So it's like, when you do come time to like be ready for a relationship or end up in something, you've like done all of the work, or you've done most of the work.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's some work that always kind of happens when you get into a relationship as well, but you've done so much of the work and you've like learned all these things from all these different partners.
Were most of your dates online dates? Like did you find them on Hinge or whatever?
It was kind of 50-50. Because, I used to go out a lot. I loved going dancing. I used to go out with my friends a lot. I had very like, if we were like going out though, I was very much like, well, I'm out with my friends. I don't want to talk to anyone. Yeah. But occasionally, I would meet somebody in the wild, which I think half the time is like more preferred.
Yes.
Because it's just a bit more of an interesting story, I think. But no, like, it was probably a 50-50 of dating apps and meeting people in the wild, I think.
Okay. Do you know, I've only ever gone on one date from a dating app.
That's wild.
And I've dated a lot.
You're like a modern day unicorn. And I think you should put that like on a t-shirt.
I was thinking about this as you were arriving, and I was like, and that bloke, Tom, I'm so sorry. Because I basically made him call me for 3 months before I was like, okay, I guess I'll meet you in person now. I just found the concept of online dating absolutely mad to me. But yeah, I've met 2 blokes in the supermarket, flipping supermarket.
Hot.
Hot. I mean, actually, to be fair, yeah, one of them was hot. He like left his number on a receipt, and I was like, and then I met like lots of people out, isn't it? Like bars and clubs, someone in the queue for a cloakroom. I just could never do the online dating thing. So thank God I meet people IRL.
Is there a difference between like when you were single prior to your 6-year relationship? Did you do any online dating then?
No.
Or is it more you're talking about now?
No, I'm talking about in my whole life, I've only ever done one online date. Since I've been single, I haven't even looked at a dating app. I haven't even downloaded it.
I mean, I hear it's rough out there. I've got a couple friends still on dating apps that are dating, and I do not envy
I just don't think dating apps fundamentally work. I think there was a time and a place for it, but I think actually we've got tired of it.
Yeah, I think there was like a golden years of dating apps.
Yes. And we're not in that era anymore.
And we're not in that era anymore.
But I think that's kind of sad, because I think people think that dating is terrible because dating apps are terrible.
Yeah.
But in my experience, like it's been great so far. And those lovely people do exist, but a lot of them are not on the dating apps.
Yeah.
Like no one that I've dated, none of them were on dating apps since I've been single.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I know.
I used to like dating apps, but again, like when I was on them, it was, I think, what do we call them? The golden years of the dating apps.
Yes, we are.
But it was because I liked that you could meet this person. And yes, you'd kind of do like a vibe check before you met them, but I liked not knowing anything before I met them. I liked...
Okay, yeah.
Because I always used to say to people, like, how do you get bored on a date when you have everything to talk about with someone? Like, you know nothing about them.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that they're probably not going to kill you.
Probably. One can hope.
Probably one can hope.
Yeah.
But, like, everything else from there is, like, this fun exploratory chat that you get to have with somebody who you may never cross paths with.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Like, that's just kind of a fun thing to do. If you, like, can do it and you feel safe doing it.
Yeah.
Why not?
One thing that I'd love to know is what makes you so confident?
Ooh. This almost feels like a cop-out because I'm kind of taking it outside of myself, but I'm obsessed with my friends. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm obsessed with the people I have chosen to surround myself with. And I know that I have, like, the biggest crushes on all of them. Like, I think they're all really interesting, unique, cool. You're in this, by the way. You're sitting there like, and tell me
like,
more.
Really?
But I think they're all so interesting and unique and smart and like really vibrant human beings and all really different. And I've been really lucky to have moved around the world, so I have them like all over the world. But I always look at them and think, God, you're so cool. Like, you're so cool and you're so interesting. And I have such a like platonic crush on all of you. And then I, like, sometimes think, well, if they have a platonic crush on me and I have a platonic crush on them, then I can't be half that bad of a person. Because if I'm attracting this kind of human that I really love, there's got to be bits of me in them and bits of them in me. So I can't be half bad, is how I tend to...
I love that. I love that. We are the people that are closest to us. We are. Like, you are a bit in me, and I am a bit in you. And yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And now I think about it, I thought you were going to actually say something really different. I thought you were going to say, well, as a child, I was raised to be independent, but I thought that's what you were going to say, which is a very valid answer in itself. But actually, I have become the most confident version of myself since I've been single and I've prioritized friendships. Yeah. Like, I have not prioritized, as much as we've spoken about dating has not been my priority at all. Like, it's just sort of happened. I just get asked out.
I'm just too hot.
I'm just too attractive.
But it's your energy. It's
yes.
like you're getting asked out because your energy is like so up there that people are like, I have to know this person.
But I think my energy actually does come from the people around me, because the person that I was around was not an energetic person. Like, my ex was just not. But now the people closest to me are these beautiful, like you were saying, really beautiful, gorgeous, smart, intelligent, like emotionally intellectual people. And it's just made me think, I must be all right. That's so true. Women are always at the forefront of these communities as well, aren't they? True. Always. Like, my female friends are just out of this world. Yeah. Female friendships, I actually didn't have the capacity to prioritise up until the past year or so, because it was just I couldn't maintain any relationship. But now I'm like putting all this energy into female friendships, and also like reconnecting with people that I hadn't spoken to for years. Mm-hmm. I just feel like actually my female friends know me better than any man ever has. Like, my female friends, they know me, they know my soul, and I just think that's kind of beautiful. And I watched this video the other day, a bloke on TikTok, and he was saying that being single is not the in-between. Being single is like it. Like, being single is, it's not this waiting room of, oh, who's going to pick me next? Like, and I kind of like, I love that mentality, because since being single, I don't feel I'm in limbo. I feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And I suppose like my female friends they're the loves of my lives. They are.
Yeah, they are.
And I think, like, I mean, I'm biased, so, like, maybe women romantically will come in and out or whatever, but I just feel like people will come in and out, but the true loves of my life are myself. I'm a great love story. Always.
It's you, and
it's me.
And it's not in a selfish way, but it's you before everybody else. It always has to be. You come in alone, you leave alone.
Exactly.
Like, love people in between, but... It has to be you.
This is the love story, baby.
You don't get to leave this.
No. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And then my female friends are a very, very close second. I just love women. In more ways than one.
You know,
Phoebe
how many times have I heard you say that?
I know. Phoebe has heard my woes of how much I like women for, since we've met each other. Since I started flirting with you.
Which was day one as my boss?
Yes. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, it's so nice to have another woman in the office. Give you a massive...
Oh no, I fell in love with you platonically from the off. Like, it was
I think you looked me in the eyes and you went...
Hell yeah. She's a little bit of me.
It's my girl.
Oh, babe, it was beautiful.
It was a bit. That first day, it felt like I'd known you forever.
Oh, isn't it beautiful when, like, friendships come
shooting
together
star
like
moment.
that? Yeah, shooting star moment. Speaking of, I guess this kind of leads on from relationships. We also share a similar viewpoint in terms of kids. Mm-hmm. And I remember we brought this up quite early, really early. I think we were at a Christmas party and we just brought it up, and
I think we were like in the bathroom weeing together as well.
Do you want kids? No.
No.
Me neither. And I just remember, like, because at that point I didn't really know anyone that didn't want kids. Like, and you didn't. And you said it with such, like, you said it with your chest. There was no like, not really. I like kids, but not really. You were just like, no.
Don't want them. Don't feel the need to. Never have. Felt, quite honestly, a bit defective earlier on in my life because I knew so in my core that I didn't want them. I was like, what's wrong with me as a woman? Maybe I'll grow into it. Like, there must be something missing. And then as I got older, I was kind of like, no, actually, it's just not something I really see for myself and I really want. And I think it's hilarious because, like, my parents separated when I was a teenager, and I think my brother and I have gone very different ends of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. I think my brother very much wants marriage and kids, mm-hmm. and I think my brother will be an absolutely outstanding father, and I cannot wait to see him become a father, and I cannot wait to be an aunt.
Yes.
But I went the opposite end. I don't really know if I want marriage. Life partner, maybe, if that kind of comes into play. But I definitely don't want kids. It's just not in the books for me.
So you've never had a maternal urge?
Not like a maternal urge. I have maternal instincts, but I think you just do as a woman. I think that's kind of like biologically put into you. Yeah. But, and you know, like when I'm with kids, I can enjoy it, but I like giving them back. Yeah. I really like giving them back.
And going home.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I learned to say it with my chest a lot earlier because people just expect that of women. People just think, well, you're a woman, that's what you're going to do one day. And it's like, even if you don't feel it now, it's something that like is really kind of hidden inside you and it's going to blossom out. And I got kind of tired of just sitting there and like nodding along as people said this to me. And I remember I had this chat with my mom because my mom always wanted to be a mother. That was always something she was going to do. She couldn't wait to have kids. And for a little bit as well, I felt guilty that I was maybe going to take this kind of thing away from her. That like her only daughter, like I was never going to be pregnant. I was never going to have a grandchild. Like she'll have it with my brother's partner eventually. But she won't have it with me. And I remember her being like, oh, like you might change your mind when you're older, which is what most people used to say to me. And I looked them dead in the eyes. This kind of became my go-to statement because it really shut them up. It was really efficient. And I said, you do not say that to a woman who does want children. You do not look a woman dead in the eyes and go, you may be infertile. Your career might take off. You might never meet someone. But you would say it to a woman who doesn't want kids. Oh, you'll meet someone and it'll change. Oh, you might have a lull in your career and then you'll know. Like, you don't say that.
No.
So get on board. And I kind of said that to her and it shut her up. And then she kind of marinated on it for a little bit. And she now uses that phrase when she's like, Phoebe won't be having kids. As soon as they start to spit that back at her, she goes, you don't say that to a woman who does want kids.
I'll be honest, I don't understand why it isn't the other way around. Like, why are we so, like, determined to get other people to breed? Like, I'm going to put it out there. I don't think that many people make brilliant parents. I think you have to be a very specific type of person to be a good parent. And most of us have kids without even, like, emotionally developing or figuring out what our brain is doing. I mean, the fact that I'm only healthy at 30 years old, like, most people have kids before that.
Yeah, I think to be a parent and to be a good parent, like, I think you have to want it and to have to know that you wanted it. Like, I think I'm in the boat of, I think there's no harder job than motherhood.
Oh my God.
Because there's single fathers as well. And I think there's no harder job than parenthood. No. And I respect the hell out of people who are like, this is my life calling. This is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to have a child. I'm meant to raise them. I look at those people and I'm like, oh my God, you have a purpose. A little bit kind of beyond what I think I could ever comprehend. And I respect the hell out of it. Yeah. It's not something I want, ever.
It's too hard.
And that's why I know I'd probably, like, yeah, sure, I'd probably be an all right mother. Like, my parents have raised me really decently. I'd probably impart a lot of that onto my kid. But it's just not something I'm interested in doing. Yeah. And why would I bring a living, breathing thing into the world if I'm not interested in being a part of shaping that living, breathing thing?
1,000,000%.
It's such a massive job to take on. Don't do it unless it's like genuinely something you feel you have to.
You wouldn't take on a job if you were given a job and it was like, okay, you're working 24 hours a day, you're on call 24 hours a day, you get paid fuck all, you get very little respect, support in this role, and it's going to be a lifelong commitment. What do you say? Like that
you're a nurse.
You are a mix of a nurse, a teacher, a support worker, a social, like, you're all these things, and that is such an I respect every single person that does that, but like, I couldn't be me. It couldn't be me.
No, me either.
And I really, really wish more people were okay with that.
Yeah, I do too. I wish more people let themselves think that there was something else that they could do.
Agreed.
Instead of just thinking, oh, this is what I'm meant to do. Yeah. Now.
I think it also is really sad because it shapes and taints so many people's 20s and 30s, because so much of that time is like, oh my God, right, shit, I need to find a partner, shit, I'm 25, haven't found, like, there's a lot of I certainly felt that pressure of, right, like, I was in my early 30s when I met early 20s. I'm aging myself.
Oh my God, you look great for 40.
Oh my God. Well, it's the Botox. But I remember being like 23 and panicking about finding someone, and like anyone I met, I had to weigh up, would that person be a good father? And because I did think I wanted kids, but the reason I wanted kids was misguided. I wanted kids because I wanted to give that kid the childhood I didn't have. But then when I solved the kind of inner child in me, all of that maternal instinct evaporated. It was just like, oh no, the reason you wanted kids was to heal the inner child in you. If you heal the inner child with therapy, the need for kids is out the window. Yeah. Thank God I realised that, because I realistically could have had kids by now. Thank God. And I'd be a fantastic mother.
Yeah,
like,
you would.
And I was the guy that I was dating. Well, one of the guys that I was dating recently. He was brought up he was not like white, so he was brought up in an Asian household. So the expectation was to have kids. And meeting me, he was very surprised and confused, because he was kind of raised that people that didn't want kids were selfish, cold, a certain type of person. And he met me and he was like, he literally said, you are the most maternal person I've ever met. You're so caring and kind and warm, but you don't want kids. And he was like, I'm having a really hard time, like struggle. Yeah, he couldn't figure that out, because so many people don't question, not having kids. So many people are like, well, it's just what you do.
They also just don't question, like, I think the way they've been brought up.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people try and, like, duplicate the household they've come from,
yes.
or they try and completely flip it.
Yes.
Which, like, technically that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of flipping it. Like, I had an idyllic childhood. Like, yes, my parents split when I was a teenager, but, like, I want no part of it. My brother, I think, he does.
Yeah.
So, like, how you kind of reconcile that is bizarre. But I don't think people kind of challenge where they've come from and what they've been taught to believe and taught to, like, what have you been taught to want?
Yeah.
And what do you actually want?
Right.
Are two very different
right.
things.
But then I guess, like, because I remember him saying to me, he was like, how did you learn what you actually wanted? And I had a really, really hard time actually explaining how did I learn who I am and what I wanted. And I still can't actually give a precise... The only thing I could tell him was just repeat patterns of behaviours and experiences and reactions to situations kind of pushed me, but it's not tangible. Like, how would you say you have figured out, this is who I am, this is what I want?
I haven't.
Well, I guess, yeah, to be fair, we're all like still...
Realistically, I haven't, but I don't know, I think... back to what you thought I was going to say before about why I'm so confident, I was raised really independently. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of, I had a lot of kind of adults around me when I was growing up, and it wasn't like you sit at the kiddie table. It was like you sit at the adult table, you have adult conversation. Yeah. And so I always felt like my opinions and my thoughts and what I had to say was valued, and it was important even from a really young age. And so I was, I think, really lucky that I grew up kind of knowing that I could make a decision and it could be valid and it could be important and it could stand the weight of a table full of adults. And I took that into adulthood.
So you were always taught to actually express your individuality and like, these are my thoughts, these are my opinions, and you were listened to. That's really, because mine was the total opposite. I was not allowed any independent thinking. So then I don't know. How was I shaped then?
I don't know. How were you shaped?
Oh, I think I only figured out who I was after I broke up with da-da-da.
I think you might have. I think there was a massive change in you in like the 6 months after that split. Because I remember there was a bit of a lead up to it.
There was.
Yeah.
It was not immediate.
But that's a woman thing to do, right? You kind of, you split with them in your head before you actually end up walking away. And when you walk away, that's why I think kind of men sometimes struggle with splits more, as women have kind of dealt with it and internalized it, and also they have female friends that they actually talk to about it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
But the 6 months after you got out of that relationship, you like blossomed as a human being. Like, you came so much. There was some stumbling.
Babe.
There was a little bit of like, oh God, what do I do? But like, now you live here. Like, you figured out all of the crap that you needed to figure out. You did it all on your own, which I think is huge when you have to do stuff on your own, when you're forced to do that. But you're forced to do it because you know it's what's best for you and you know it's what you want. But yeah, you just like came alive. And there was like always that little spark sitting in there in you, but it was just kind of like, it was like Calcifer at the end of the Howl's Moving Castle movie. Like, where they're kind of carrying him around on a stick and he's sputtering and hanging on for dear life. It was a bit of that. You had that in your belly.
Yep.
And then, you broke up with da-da-da.
And
Sophie
it was like,
cuts her hair off, feeds it to you, and you blow up the house. Like,
fuck yeah. I blew up the house.
You blew up the house, babe.
Maybe I guess it's actually a similar... I've just drawn myself.
No, you haven't.
Oh. We good?
No, you're good.
Maybe actually it's a similar experience for both of us then, but you learned it a lot earlier, because my independence only came when I broke up with and I was healthy enough to have independent thinking. Because when I tried to have independent thinking prior to that would just lead me to past trauma, which would trigger me. So maybe it is just being encouraged to be a truly independent thinker, not just consuming other people's thoughts and perspectives from books, articles, TikTok videos, actually truly sitting with things and being like, but what makes me happy? Like doing things and noting your reaction. Like, I think this makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Maybe it's that.
Yeah, there was a really interesting, I can't remember where it came from, this was years ago, about like how to decide like what is really your own opinion and what is like been taught to you by society, because I think that's kind of an issue too when you first start like being like, okay, time to have my own opinion.
Yes.
You like sit down and you start doing a bunch of research and you start taking in a bunch of information, but it isn't necessarily the information you believe in.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember where this came from, but somebody said your first reaction, like when you're first kind of learning who you are and what you really believe in, your first reaction or thought to anything is what society's taught you to believe and how you've taken it on. Your second thought or reaction is how you actually think and feel about it. So sit with that more. Understand the first one, but sit with the second one longer.
Oh my God, I love that.
I do not know where it came from.
So it's taking the time to digest information, like knowing that there is some sort of prejudice, some sort of filter going on, and then dipping deeper and being like, no, but that's how I feel. Mm-hmm. Oh, I kind of love that.
Like, I always think about, like, the super, super simple answer. When you're walking down the street and you see somebody wearing something outrageous, maybe your first head goes, that's an outrageous outfit. And then your second thought goes, kind of
hell
fabulous.
Yeah!
Yeah. What you're actually thinking is kind of fabulous.
Yes.
The outrageous is everybody around you probably looking at the outfit and thinking,
yes,
why the hell are they wearing that? I would never wear that outdoors. That would make me embarrassed. But it's like, your second thought of, no, pop off, my girl. You look so good wearing whatever the hell that is you're wearing. Like, that's your genuine opinion, and that's the person you actually are, and that's the person you need to, like, nurture and feed.
Oh, I love that. That's such a good, simple example, because I 100% would have been one of those judgmental bitches. Like, oh my God, like, they look a bit cray-cray. Whereas now, I'm just like, oh my God, go, like, do your thing. I admire anyone that is a bit fucking different. Like, I even admire, you know, those people that just, like, sing to themselves as they're walking around. I'm like, hell yeah, you're feeling that song. You sing that song.
Exactly.
And I just love that. Whereas that we're taught to judge those people because they're different and they don't care what the rest of us think. And that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And I am quicker to judge the people who judge that person continuously without thought.
Yes.
Than
agreed.
I do judging the actual person that's doing the outrageous thing.
1,000,000%.
Like, I have walked away from friendships because I've been like, you just sit with the first thought.
Yeah.
Or is it that this is actually your second thought? And in that case, I really don't want to be a part of this.
Yes. Yes.
Those have been kind of deciding factors on some friendships I've had. And I've been like, actually, I don't really know if at your core you're a person that I really want to be around. Mm-hmm. If that's either just your first thought or it's your second thought,
it's not up to you to even decipher. Like, mm-hmm. They need to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Honey, I kind of feel like we should leave it here. Thank you so, so much. You're an angel. You honestly, I just love your insight into the world. I think it's such a beautiful, like, refreshing, unfiltered way of looking at things. And I hope I get to see this beautiful personality for the rest of my life, quite frankly. Hell yeah. At the marriage, baby.
Love you, baby.
Guys,
see you at the altar.
Oh, hell yeah. Until the wedding. Thank you so, so much for watching, listening, whatever you've done. We're buzzing to have you. And I'll see you next week. We'll have another guest next week. It's going to be a different topics, of course, because everyone is different. But enjoy. Have a lovely week. Love ya.